You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Fantastic night to be drinking wine. I walked the floor when I came and I counted in excess of about 45 different wines on the floor. So what I'm asking everyone to do is not just to walk up to a booth and ask them, could I get a glass of red? Could I get a glass of white? When you're asking for your wine, please ask them what wine they're pouring. And if you like it, take a picture of it and ultimately buy it, right? Because that's what we want to happen. So, over the last year, several things have happened on the wine scene. I've noticed at least 3 new wine bars or 3 new culinary establishments adding the word wine bar to their names. And so, I think the Observer has made a difference again and continue to raise the bar and raise the discussion about wine in Jamaica. Last year, this time, if I'm correct, Select Brands team, I think last year, uncorked Montego Bay. Just about this time, they opened. So we had our second wine bar in Montego Bay. And just this past week, I noticed something on Instagram talking about Chive or some new restaurant like that. So it's another wine bar. So it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. More folks are drinking wine, more folks are talking about wine. And that's what, I'm happy for that. Without any further ado, I just seriously would like everyone to be trying their wines. My new wine that I tried tonight, seriously. What's the name of that wine? Menage a Trois Gold. First time I'm having that one. You know what? Let me leave it like that. Menage a Trois Gold Chardonnay from over at the Harbour Wine booth. First time I'm having it. Delicious Chardonnay, crowd pleaser, very fruit forward. Loved it a lot. I've tried all the apothecs, tried it before, and over at the CPJ booth, big powerful red wine, Lalus. I enjoyed that a lot. And then over at the Select Brands, I'm having some Perez Jouet champagne. So folks, please go around, try the wines, ask the name of the wine that you're having, take a picture of it. Please, don't just give me a red, give me a right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. It's evening. Sorry, too much wine. All right, good evening, everyone. Congratulations to Jamaica Observer on another hosting of Salute. At CPJ, what we decided to do this year was go all Italian. So we have 1 Prosecco, we have 3 still wines, which is 2 reds and 1 white. And what we wanted to do was kind of embody what Italy has to represent. So Italy is known for Pinot Grigios, so we have San Angelo Pinot Grigio. We also have Ascot, which is Ascot Bulgarian, which is a mix of Cab Sav and Cab Franc. And we also have La Luz, which is Alboroso. And Alboroso is another variety of grape which really is known in the Italian region. So what we really want to do is embody what Italy has to offer. And all of these wines, except for the Prosecco, comes from a house called Banfi, which is very well known in the Italian region. So that is what we have to offer on that side. So, salute.
I'm sure we're all having a fantastic time. We're all drinking wine, my favorite. And not because I'm the brand manager for Harbour Wines and Spirits, but yes. And for those of you who don't know, Harbour Wines and Spirits is the wines unit in Grace Foods and Services. So yes, we have a wide range of wines, but this evening we want to take you on a little journey, around the world. So we have some sparkling wines, We have the Lunetta Prosecco out of Italy. We also have the Trivento Brut Natural out of Argentina. Then we take it to our still wines. We have, under the Trivento brand again, we have our reserve range. So we have the Pinot Noir being poured this evening. We have our Malbec. And from Vino Maipo, again, we have our reserve range. We're doing a Sauvignon Blanc there. We are also pouring a Carmenere and a Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, Chris mentioned one of the very popular ones. It seems to be the hit at our booth this evening, the Ménage à Trois. We're talking about the wine now. So Ménage à Trois, we have the Gold, which as Chris mentioned earlier is a Chardonnay. We also have the Silk, which is a nice soft red blend. We have the Ménage à Trois Midnight, which it seems we don't have many hands over there to pour because that seems to be the very popular one. And the latest addition to that portfolio is the Ménage à Trois Decadence, which is around a 98% Cabernet Sauvignon. So on behalf of Harbor Wines and Spirits, we want to say salute. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone. And I'm from Jerry and Neville. I'm the brand manager for the wines portfolio. And tonight we are focusing on a very mysterious brand. It's called Apothic Wines. And if you come and visit our booth, you will get to understand a little bit about it. Tonight we are focusing on our red blend, our white blend, and our new dark blend. So, yes, I said blend, and again, that's the new trend in wines nowadays. And trust me, it's a very smooth, easy to drink wine. Not too sweet, not too dry. And just a little bit about Apothic. We sell about 3 million cases globally. We're doing very well in Jamaica. And it's actually the #1 brand in Canada. Yeah. So I ask for you guys to come and visit us, to come and taste. There's a lot of interesting things happening at our booth. Come and visit me and ask me what's going on over there and get to know our brands. So Jamaica Observer, thank you very much. Novia, salute.
Welcome my friends in wine. Tonight I'm representing Rush Marketing and we have some beautiful sparkling wines. So as you know, sparkling wine is made with 3 grapes, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. So we have 3 sparklings. We have a beautiful rosé known as Cavalier. It's coming out of France. We have the Chateauneuf. It's a Brut, so it's going to be dry on the palate. We also have Carmela, which has been a hit right throughout the night. It's a lovely sparkling Moscato. And then we are going to travel to Argentina, where we'll have a lovely Malbec coming out of the Mendoza region. And then the grape of Spain, Tempranillo. So we have the Don Juan Tempranillo on display as well. So come by our booth. We're right behind here. It's Rush Marketing, and it will be our pleasure to host you, right? So again, Novia, thank you so much for the opportunity, and to all my friends in wine, salute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. I am Deborah Taylor, Trade Development Manager at Select Brands. And when we looked through our portfolio, it was quite extensive and it was very challenging to decide what to do. But we thought we'd give it a European theme and then we'd throw the curveball in. So out of Italy, we have our Casinento line, our red and white blend in keeping with the blend trend. Then we had our Cavicchioli Prosecco accompanied by the Rosé. And well, at intermittent times we're pouring our delightful Perrier Jouet champagne. And yes, yay indeed. And then, you know, just for good measure, we have included our Montes Outer Limits Sauvignon Blanc, which will blow your mind, so do give it a try. I just want to quickly use this opportunity to say that education is the new sexy. And if we in the industry don't start demanding good, fantastic, great service, we're never gonna get it. And I want us to stop accepting the mediocre service that we've been getting in our restaurants and to start demanding what we're used to getting when we travel. Our standards need to be raised, and I believe that if we don't ask for it, we're not gonna get it. So you all know where to find us. We are the approved program providers for the Wines and Spirits Education Trust, or WSET, educational courses. And I want to implore you to encourage everyone to get educated. Service is what our visitors come to the island for. And if our team members are not qualified to deliver, then our product is going to be substandard. And the Jamaica Observer, thank you ever so much for this opportunity and for what you continue to do to raise the bar. We are here to stand beside you, behind you, and support you 100%. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I know I kind of took it another way, but I had to do it because I'm very, very frustrated with our levels of service. Cheers, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like obviously for you to enjoy the music. We've got a great DJ ready to spin some tunes, but obviously we'd like to thank our partners. Do ensure that you have a glass in hand. Thank you very much, Sagicor, the Spanish Court Hotel, Tyflora, Rainforest Seafoods, CPJ, Harbour Wines, J. Ray and Nephew, Rush Marketing and Select Brands. On behalf of the Jamaica Observer newspaper, thank you for your support. Do continue to support the only newspaper that really matters. Sorry, did you not hear? The only newspaper that really matters. And thank you very much. Oh, the last of my children. The last has arrived. Salut.
With another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Talk to us about Salud. What exactly is the event?
Okay, Salud is an initiative. Okay, if you look around, you'll see 5 purveyors. What we've done is we approached the 5 most established wine companies in Jamaica for an evening of pouring champagne and wines, an introduction, as it were, to the festive season. So you're able to select, sip, and the whole idea is to purchase your Christmas stock early. So instead of them having to do do the work, we've done the work for them, as it were. And it's a lovely opportunity to kickstart the festive season. I think it's fair to say that Christmas has started. Christmas is officially, on the road, that kind of thing. So it's Monday evening, and those in the know go out on Monday. At the weekends, we repair elsewhere with our respective wines and champagnes. So this is what we're doing. So we've got CPJ, we've got Apothec Wines with Ray Nephew, Grace Harbour Wines, Select Brands, and Rush Marketing. So, and quite a few of our friends of the Jamaica Observer newspaper. So every year, it segues. We start with Applaudit, which allows us, the next generation, the CEOs and the managing directors, to meet the next generation exactly where they are, and to break bread with them and to inspire them, as it were. You know what I'm saying? And then that segues straight into Salud. As I said before, it's an opportunity for all the wine. It's a wine conversation. That's what it is. It's a wine conversation. So, Salud.
Rainforest Seafoods is a sponsor at tonight's Salud. Tell us about your involvement.
Okay, so Salud is a premium event. That's a wine and champagne. Rainforest is a premium seafood company. We have premium seafood, and both go hand in hand. So we have to be a sponsor.
Talk to me, what did he have to offer tonight?
So tonight we had our sushi rolls. We're serving 6 different types of sushi rolls tonight. Also, we had a whole roasted salmon with a sriracha and chili glaze. And the words on the street is that, it was to die for.
How do seafood and wine go hand in hand?
Match made in heaven.
Talk to us about Rush Marketing. You're based in Montego Bay?
Yeah, so Rush Marketing, I'm based in Montego Bay. A strong presence there by Rush Ramchandani and the Ramchandani brothers. And so they have a nice wines and spirits setup. They're not so new to the business, but in terms of making a mark, they set out this evening to stamp their feet on the ground to say Rush Marketing is here, and they're serious about developing the wines and spirits business. So I'm happy to be a part of that and to share in that experience with them, and to share the wines that we have here as well.
Speaking of the wines, talk to us about some of the wines that you have tonight.
Okay, so we have 3 sparklings, all beginning with C. So I'm going to take it slowly. So our big one for tonight is the Carmela Moscato. It's a beautiful sparkling wine. It's sweet on the palate. Jamaicans love a Moscato, so it will suit the palate very well. There is Chateauneuf from France, and it is going to be a Brut. And when we say Brut, we mean it's dry. So it's not going to be sweet on the palate, it's going to be dry. And then we have the Cavalier, which is a rosé sparkling. Also a hint of sweetness, but very beautiful. So your Sunday brunch, rosé, perfect. If you're having Indian or Thai food, any of those sparklings will complement them quite well. We have the grape of Argentina on display, which is the Malbec, and we have the grape of Spain, which is the Tempranillo. So we're traveling across the old world into the new world, and we're showcasing the best of what is there to offer.
What has been the most popular, what have some of the popular brands been tonight?
Well, tonight the popular one has been the Carmela Sparkling Moscato. That has been the hit for everybody. Everybody loves that. And then the Cavalier Sparkling Rosé, that's another hit as well. So we're happy right around because we had something for every palate. Not everyone likes sweet because some palates are more developed than the others, but we had the dry Tempranillo from Spain, Don Juan Wines, and we had the Malbec coming out of Argentina. So something for everyone.
How did you get involved in tonight's event?
Oh, okay. So Salud, I've been in the wines and spirits business for over 12 years, another dispensation. So wines and spirits has been a part of me. I'm a trained sommelier as well. But Rush Marketing, as I said, they wanted to create a strong presence here. And so they called in the big guns. And I said yes. And I'm happy that I was a part of it. Novia and the Observer has been a strong support of myself, of this industry. and I thought it fitting to come and say thank you to Novi and thanks for the opportunity from the Jamaica Observer. It has been an incredible evening. As you can see, everybody's enjoying, and it's just a fantastic time here at Spanish Court.
So CPJ is representing tonight at Salute. Tell us about some of the wines that you have on offer.
Well, tonight we have, all the wines that we have on offer are from Italy. So our theme is Italian. We have a Prosecco, which is Mionetto Prosecco. We have Asca Bulgari, which is a blend of Cab Sav and Cab Franc. We have a Pinot Grigio, which is San Angelo Pinot Grigio. And we also have another wine, which is La Luz, which is Albarossa. And Albarossa is another great varietal, which is traditionally known to be coming from Italy. So everything that we're doing is really Italian-based, which is known to be coming from the Italian region. And as you can see, we try to go for a very rustic feel with our booth as well, which represents the Italian life.
What are some of the popular offerings tonight?
So what goes very fast right now is Mionetto Prosecco. Everybody seems to be into the, I guess, New Year vibe, and a lot of Prosecco is really going. It's really easy drinking nonetheless, so that is the first one, and I would say the Asca Bulgari, the brand of the Cab Sav and the Cab Franc, that's what's behind it.
How important is it to be a part of an event like this?
All right, so for me, being a part of the event as the individual, this is my second year representing CPJ. And what we try to do each year is represent themes. So last year we went with Josh Wines. And this year we try to go Italian because a lot of persons don't try to go for the range of the portfolio. And Italian wines are not represented as much. And we try to highlight that from the Banfi House of Wines.
Jerry and Nephew is representing tonight with Apothic. Talk to us about the whole setup tonight.
Well, again, we're here at Salou. We're proud to be a part of this. Apothic Wines is what we're promoting tonight, distributed by Jerry and Nephew Limited. Apothic is a #1 brand in Canada. We sell like 3 million cases worldwide. It's a growing brand here in Jamaica. And what it is, it's a mysterious brand. So when people hear Apothic, it draws them to the brand. So it's a blended wine. That's a new trend nowadays, blended wine. And we have Apothic Red, Apothic Dark, and Apothic White. So it's a blend of different red grapes and white grapes together to bring this lovely, lovely wine. Very easy to drink. And persons have been coming out, trying our wines, getting chances to win baskets, and getting to know the brand a little more. What do they have it with their meals? What's the best time of the day to have the wine, etc., etc. So we're glad to be a part of this expo to show people what we're about and to give them some new knowledge about how to enjoy Apothic wine. So,
what has the response been like tonight? What are some of the popular offerings?
Well, most people know the Apothic Red, the Apothic White. The red is my favorite, but we've recently introduced the Apothic Dark, and people really love the Apothic Dark. And the Apothic Dark is a blend of 7 different dark grapes. And the interesting thing about it is that it's aged in whiskey barrels. So it has that oak, woody taste to it. So it gives you a different taste of wine. And again, when you pair that with a meat, it's a different experience. So that's what we're pushing tonight, and people love it.
And how did you get involved with Salute this year?
Well, again, Jamaica Observer reached out. We could not miss it. We're one of the #1 distributors of wines and spirits, Jerry and Nephew Limited. So we had to come and showcase our focus brand tonight, which is Apothic.
Talk to us about what Harbour Wines is offering tonight at Salute.
Okay, so Harbour Wines and Spirits is taking you around the world tonight. So we have our sparkling wines, our Lunetto Prosecco out of Italy, and we have our Trivento Brut Nature out of Argentina. We also have a range of our reserve wines from Argentina and Chile. So that's the Trivento out of Argentina and the Vina Maipo out of Chile. And of course, we could not forget the US. So we have the Ménage à Trois, which has been doing exceptionally well tonight. The Ménage à Trois Midnight in particular has been doing awesome. So for the Ménage à Trois range, we're pouring the Gold, which is a Chardonnay. We're also pouring the Silk, which is a nice, soft red blend. We're also pouring the Midnight, which is the one I said is like really,
we don't have enough to serve the audience tonight. And we also have the Decadence, which is like a 98% cap. And we could not forget those who love the sweeter side. So we have the Cavite Moscato out of Italy, the Roscato, and the Roscato Rosé. So the Trivento Reserve Malbec, because Argentina, they're known for their Malbec. So the Malbec is doing exceptionally well as well. And the Vina Maipo, the Cabernet Sauvignon, and the Carmenere. The Carmenere is also surprisingly well as good as well.
How important would you say an event like this is to Jamaicans, wine drinkers in general?
Well, extremely important, because when you look at it, wine drinking on a whole has been growing. The trend has been growing in Jamaica. I mean, people are no longer, you're kind of demystifying. Wine is no longer seen as bougie. So a lot more persons are experimenting, and we encourage it. I mean, that's something that we're traditionally rum and cocktail type culture. So a smooth transition would be your sweeter wines, and then you move from that into your blends, into your more, drier type wine. So I think this is an amazing event. Salute, definitely.
So this is the second year we're doing Salute like this, but we've been doing Salute for many, many years. It's really and truly about a celebration of wine, and because of the timing of the event, it's almost like an introduction to buyers on some of the wines that are available and some of the wines that the various purveyors are offering to the market in terms of new wines or new brands to the market. So yeah, it's something that Jamaica Observer just wanted to kind of recognize the various wine purveyors and importers in Jamaica.
What are some of the new wines that you have tried tonight?
Well, one of the new ones to me was, although the brand is not new to me, but the specific wine was wines from Harbour, which they have a brand called Menage a Trois. Been around for a while, but I've seen the Chardonnay but never tried it. So I tried it tonight for the first time. Very pleasant, it's a crowd pleaser. If you want to dabble into a little bit of, most new wine drinkers like sweet white wines, but if you're graduating from that and you want that kind of dry, pleasant wine, then it's a good wine to try.
As a wine writer for the Jamaica Observer, how has tonight's event been for you?
So, as a wine writer, I'm always happy to see a lot of people trying wines. So there's nothing else available apart from just wine, right? So sadly, I have some friends who come, boy Chris, no rum? No rum, it's wine only. So it's really and truly an opportunity for people who have been kind of dabbling. And what I encourage everyone here to do, I said, look guys, go around to every booth, try the different wines, and once you find something you like, just take out your phone and take a picture of it. So at least you remember what it is, and you can go out and buy it. But the whole idea is to keep introducing people to new wines and allow them to try and experience some new products.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
On today's observation of World Humanitarian Day, we highlight female aid workers who risk their lives to help others and make the world a better place. Here in Jamaica, all women continue to be the backbone of our society, and we applaud and thank them for their work to make our little corner of the world the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Stay with us.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, August 19. The Ministry of Education has instructed schools that they are to charge no more than $5,000 for new students' registration packages this academic year. The directive was reportedly issued in a bulletin disseminated to all schools by the Acting Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Winnie Berry. State Minister Orlando Terrelong says the bulletin was in keeping with the ministry's call for schools to ensure education remains accessible and affordable for all. In keeping with that position, Minister Terrelong says the Education Ministry has abolished the term auxiliary fees and replaced it with parent support contribution. Schools have been warned that parents must not be forced to pay this contribution, nor should their children be denied entry. According to a press release from the ministry, the contribution must not be a requirement for registration, school access or attendance, criteria for graduation, examination slips, or application to sixth form. In fact, administrators should discuss and get approval from their regional director for the categories that will fall on the school payment voucher. The ministry is, however, insisting that the cost of consumables should not be combined into packages that mandate payment for the full cost. For example, packages should not contain a charge for 5 school crests when the parent might not require or be able to afford 5 at once. The Education State Minister says schools that fall short of funds during the course of the year can write to the Permanent Secretary with supporting documentation to request consideration for additional support. In the meantime, Mr. Terrelong says changes are being made to the funding formula to increase financing for schools, while sixth form programs will be fully funded by the government, including exam fees and resource materials. Transport and Mining Minister Robert Montague says he will do whatever it takes to ensure that the country is protected amidst global concerns with respect to the price of bauxite and alumina on the international market. The assertion comes as the minister and his team continue to have dialogue with key players in the bauxite industry. A statement from the ministry says those discussions remain at a delicate stage. Last week, the minister and his team met with representatives of Gisco Alpart, Windalco, the Clarendon Alumina Company, and Noranda Bauxite Company. Asserting that Jamaica's interest is his first priority, Minister Montague says government is monitoring the bauxite and mining industry in an effort to allay fears of any possible fallout and to provide support aimed at protecting the welfare of workers and the livelihood of communities who depend on the industry. The Bogwalk Health Center and Police Station are to be upgraded as part of an $88 million project funded by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. The project also includes the rehabilitation of the Pineapple Lane Road in the community, and the work will be done over the next 6 months. This is being done under JSIF's Poverty Reduction Program, which is funded by the European Union. At the recent signing ceremony, JSIF's Managing Director Omar Sweeney said the support was geared at improving community infrastructure and ensuring the protection of human rights.
And so, whether a person has an infraction with the law or not, they have a human right to be housed in a proper facility. They have a human right as a citizen when you enter a police station to feel as if you're not entering an armory or a guard room or something like that. You should go into a police station and feel that you can have a confidential discussion. You should have trust. And these are basic human rights that all citizens need. And so we are in partnership on this program to ensure that your human rights are protected in every single way.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Warren Clark implored residents to see the investment as their own, as the upgraded station would enhance security. Preliminary discussions by government to extend Jamaica's largest bilateral sports cooperation agreement with China has been favorable. The 3-year initiative called the Jamaica-China Technical Cooperation Program is in its 2nd year of operation. Under the program, 138 Jamaican athletes, managers, and coaches in 7 sporting disciplines traveled to China for specialized training during summer.
The ministers already had some preliminary discussion. The preliminary discussions have been favoring that there's an extension and what would be involved in that extension.
The ministry's permanent secretary was speaking with JIS News following a meeting to discuss the progress of the program held last Friday at China Sports International Corporation in Beijing. In addition to extending its length, Mr. Thorpe says proposals have also been made to expand the program to include other sporting disciplines.
Other sporting bodies in Jamaica have expressed an interest in being a part of a new program or an extension of the program if that does happen. So there have been about 5 or so federations, associations that have expressed an interest in the program, having seen the benefits of the program for the 7 disciplines that are currently involved.
Under the Technical Cooperation Program, more than 400 Jamaican athletes will travel to China for training over the next 3 years. And finally, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Olivia Grange, has expanded the membership on the National Council on Reparations and appointed a new team for the next 3 years. The 20-member council will serve from July 29, 2019 to July 28, 2022. The newly appointed council includes members from the legal fraternity, academia, the Rastafari community, civil society, the church, and public sector. It is chaired by Mrs. Lalita Davis Mattis, with Bert Samuels serving as deputy chairman. Other members are Professor Vereen Shepherd, Frank Phipps, Lord Anthony Gifford, Dr. Jelani Naya, Professor Rupert Lewis, and Stephen Golding. They're joined by Dr. Michael Barnett, Professor Clinton Hutton, Donald Roberts, Michael Holgate, Ras Lancroy Ho-Shing, Vivian Crawford, and Joanne Archibald. The 5 remaining members are Pastor Bruce A. Fletcher, Reverend Stephen Jennings, Dr. Winsome Gordon, Lorraine Williams Tafari, and Tamika Peart. Minister Grange says the council is to create strategies to secure and disburse reparations due to Jamaicans for the transatlantic slave trade. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them.
The government is all about inclusive learning, and not just at the primary and secondary levels. Take a look.
Lexley is preparing for another day at Jamaican Teas, where he works as assistant to the factory manager and the company's hazard analysis and critical control points coordinator. He is among the men and women who, despite their physical, mental, or social limitations and impairments, are learning to create value and purpose with the skills they have acquired. His life has been changed significantly because of the services provided by the Abilities Foundation.
Life was sort of weird in many ways. A lot of wasting of time in terms of parties, but yet still wanted to achieve something, but the opportunity wasn't there.
It was through a group of concerned parents, stakeholders, that their children who were disabled, after graduating high school, they had nowhere else to go. And they raised a telethon to raise funds to establish a skills training center. And through that, Abilities Foundation was born in October 1992. Abilities Foundation is a unique institution. It's the only institution in the Caribbean and in Jamaica that caters to all disabilities.
The foundation was established to meet two primary objectives: increase the employability of persons with disabilities and teach good work ethics to young adults with disabilities to prepare them for integration into society.
The training program that I was engaged in is office administration. Being at the Abilities Foundation and being a person with disabilities, basically you are comfortable because you are amongst persons with disabilities and their understanding of conditions. I learned that there.
The courses offered through the Abilities Foundation seek to provide opportunities for full participation and equality. These programs open new skill areas and, whenever possible, are crafted within existing social, education, and labor trends. The foundation currently offers 5 training programs: housekeeping levels 1 and 2, furniture making, data operations levels 1 and 2, design and decor soft furnishing, horticulture and landscaping.
What we do is that we give them an in-house test. If they are capable of passing it at 70%, we send them up to do what you call an assessment. The assessment is done by outside persons from Heart, and they do the assessment and finish the program, certified through Heart. If they are not capable, then they will give them what you call a unit competency. That unit competency is a document or paper showing that they are capable of doing these units.
The foundation also provides a functional life skills curriculum which focuses on the students' transition to the workforce, as well as remedial English and mathematics, money awareness and management.
I assist them with preparation of their resumes, their cover letters, searching for different employment opportunities. One of my major functions is to provide them with placement sites so that they can get job experience.
For the past couple of years, we have been with the NYS, and we recognize that after that's a summer program, but we recognize that after they are placed in the summer program, it's easier for us to go back to those places to get permanent placement for them because they see what they can do and not their disability.
The foundation has been able to extend its reach and service offerings through grant funding from the Japanese Policy Human Resources Development Grant Program. The grant was provided through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Social and Economic Inclusion Project for persons with disabilities.
What this project endeavors to do is to build the capacity of the institution through professional development courses for the staff. A major component of this project is to assist the students with a training stipend, and it is targeted for those who are PATH beneficiaries. The project also provides them with a job placement officer and a job coach. So when we place them on jobs, we also give them a coach to mentor and help them throughout the process.
The foundation continues to open doors for persons with disabilities and equip them with the requisite skills and knowledge to become productive Jamaican citizens. The Abilities Foundation, creating opportunities for the exceptional.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
The time is dwindling down and summer with free paper soon burn. Don't be caught slipping. Let's see what's in your bag this September.
For infant schools, we're recommending a dark colored bag because we want to reduce the number of times we're washing the bags. And children play a lot, bags get dirty. We also want to ensure that in the bag, there is a water bottle. Water is important because as children play, they get dehydrated, and this will actually affect how comfortable they are. So we want to ensure that there's water in the bag so that they're sipping throughout the day. Now, especially for preschoolers, as they're entering schools for the first time, we know that there is separation anxiety. One of the things that we recommend is a toy. It helps them to be just a little more comfortable with that transition to school. Another thing that we want to place in the bag is a blanket. Children need sleep time, and so the blanket, a nice clean blanket, is good to add to the bag. Another thing that we recommend is a pencil case. We want a pencil case that is durable and one that can secure the pencils. Of course, you can't have a school bag without notebooks. One of the things we recommend is lighter notebooks for the children who are smaller because we do not want the bag to become too heavy. In the notebook, it's also advisable that you put an emergency contact number. What would be recommended also is a change of uniform so that if they get dirty, they can change off. A clean rag is also recommended to dry their hands and also perhaps to wipe their faces. As times get hot, they become sweaty, we need a fresh rag. For children who are transitioning to primary or high school, you will notice that we have a bigger bag. So let's look at what should go in the bag. First of all, there is a smart device that we're recommending. Of course, you're going to refer to your school's policies regarding cell phones or other smart devices. But as we prepare our children for 21st century learning, if it is that the policy supports this, then we recommend that you ensure that there is a smart device so that the children can be using these to support their learning as dictated by their teachers. We also recommend hand sanitizer. In some situations, a teacher might want to keep the hand sanitizer for the student, and so you refer depending on the teacher or the school. Of course, we are also purporting hydration. We have to ensure that children remain hydrated. When children get hot, they become uncomfortable, and this affects teaching and learning. And of course, as a partner of the Jamaica Moves campaign, we're also suggesting water as opposed to other sugary drinks. Toiletry is very important. So we have a Ziploc bag here, and we have toilet paper and a piece of paper towel. And there is also wipes. Let's go to the inside of the bag. What's in here? We continue to ensure our children are equipped with the writing implements, but for security purposes, we suggest that you give them a case to house the paper, scissors, the pens and pencils. There are also exercise books. Now, these exercise books are a little heavier because, as you know, primary school and high school require more note-taking. So these are a little heavier. One of the things we must also have is a planner because homework is very important. So we recommend that you write down the homework so that you can ensure that those are submitted on the due dates. Of course, you must have the textbooks. Now, textbooks can be many and they too can be heavy. So depending on what homework is assigned, you might want to work with a class teacher to also store some of these textbooks. So only the ones that will support homework will make it home. And you know, weather is also unpredictable. So we recommend an umbrella, a lightweight umbrella, or a rain cloak if you have it. We don't want our children getting ill because this will affect their attendance to school and ultimately affect learning. And that is it for what goes in the bag. We wish you a successful year. All the best.
We Jamaicans are a hard-working set of people, and we at the JIS know this. That's why after a hard day's work, you can simply pop onto our website, jis.gov.jm, and be in the know with government news and information. JIS, your information hub.
How is your planning for back to school coming along? Cross-check with this next feature.
It's that time of year when we say farewell to the carefree days of summer and welcome a new academic year filled with loads of promise. We want to ensure there's a smooth transition for all stakeholders. So we've prepared a last-minute back-to-school checklist to ease any worries you may have. Take notes. First tip, know the rules of the road. No, we don't mean the road code. What we mean is familiarizing yourself with the routes to and from the school. That way, when school resumes, you and your child can use the quickest and most convenient way to get there. And what's even more important, your child won't get lost. Now is also the time for you to finalize pickup and drop-off arrangements with taxis or buses. And be sure to inform the teacher of these arrangements. Your child's health is paramount. Visit the doctor to get his or her immunization up to date and have a complete medical check done. A dentist visit is also on the list. By now, all the school registration documents would have been submitted. If not, use the orientation day to turn in all outstanding documents. You may also want to use the orientation to drop off your child's textbooks to his or her teacher. This way, you'll be able to steer clear of the traditional first day of school rush. Next tip, deportment matters. By now, you should be aware of the school's uniform requirements. If the attire is not quite up to scratch, make the necessary adjustments. That may include exchanging the shoes or bags or making alterations to the uniform. Also ensure that your child's hair is groomed to meet the school's standards. Stay ahead of the curve on the home front. Assign a section of your home for all the things your child will need to function during school time. That way, he or she will know where to look when they need any school-related supplies. Ensure your child has been familiarizing him or herself with the information in the textbooks. Nutrition is also critical. Be sure to purchase additional food items to cover breakfast and possibly lunch for your child. Summer was fun, we know, late nights and even later mornings. But with school on the horizon, have your child return to his or her bedtime routine. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
This is Ramin Virgo. I'm here appeal to all of the youths them to just stay away from crime and violence. We know the temptation, the money, the fast life. People say them rate you. But that will only take you nowhere. If you stay in school and focus, then you can achieve anything. Be your own leader. A gang is a dead end.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Summer is on the way out, so be sure to explore Jamaica during your free time. See what's in store for you in Westmoreland.
You may know it for its 7 miles of pristine coastline, its unmistakable sunsets, or moving houses on trailers. You may see it in the news for its motorcycles, but there's so much more to the island's most westerly parish. We decided to give you a little peek. So come now, come around the bend with us in Westmoreland.
Come and get your fish at the border. We have our nice seafood. We have conch, we have steamed fish, we have bami, we have soup. If you come to the border, believe you me, you will never stop coming to the border.
If you're looking for an in-depth history lesson, you won't find it in this feature. Be sure to head on over to jis.gov.jm for a parish profile. What you'll get though is some good food and some breathtaking sights around these parts. When sugar was king, it was the center of economic life. And it was from these lands that Jamaica's road to independence was paved. Just look up the 1938 riots and the passage of universal adult suffrage in 1944. Up the road and round the bend, you'll find persons who came here to supply manpower. Yes, we're talking about Chinese and Indian indentured servants, and their influences live on. Negril is not the only capital of casual here in Westmoreland. What do you think about Bluefields?
Yeah, you can come and get your fresh fruit in White House.
Come and visit Peter Touch home, Belmont, Westmoreland. We're all over there hang out and go and eat fish and ital.
Yeah, and people are coming down at the old wharf near to the front of the MCB bank there. But the mutual ship is good.
We came further up the hill, round the bend, to a place called Good Hope in Westmoreland, where our locals told us about a great house, right? The Whitehall Great House.
Whitehall Great House.
This is our tour guide. He's a former worker there, Mr. Seaford Pringle. Right. He was just telling us about the produce that came from there.
Yeah.
You said logwood.
Logwood, pimento.
Pimento.
Yeah.
Seaford, thanks for sharing the great house with us. And see you next time.
You're welcome.
You've seen our mountains, you've seen our springs, you've even seen our rivers. But did you know that we have a blue hole too? We're going to check that out right now. Westmoreland is also home to the Seaford Town German settlement. It's too far up the road for today, but you can visit when you have some time. They have a museum and the people are very warm and welcoming. Just tell them the JIS sent you.
One love, one heart. Come on down to Negril. You're gonna feel alright.
The tour done. I hope you had fun and you learned a little bit more about this Western wonderland called Westmoreland.
Our time on the station has expired, but our engagement doesn't have to end. We're available at your leisure on jis.gov.jm or our YouTube channel. There's also social media and a mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
watching Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The ICAJ hosts their annual business conference here at the Jamaica Pegasus under the theme Megatrends 3.0, Changing Times, Changing Strategies. I'm your host, Mita Prasad Webb. Please stay tuned for highlights.
The world is changing. We're talking about this everywhere I go. The pace of change is unprecedented. And so, yes, I know we're accountants, but our acumen on technology, we're going to have to beef it up. We're going to have to know about big data, cloud, cybersecurity, virtual reality. This is not an environment of tomorrow where you can say, well, I'm just a numbers person. Those days are over. And so today, what we're talking about is that technology makes things a little more seamless. So we always talk about what happened with Blockbuster. We talk about what happened with Kodak. These are case studies that'll be around for years and years. But unfortunately, there are some iconic companies that will be case studies as well. It'll be Radio Shack, might be Yahoo, it might be Toys R Us, it might be Borders. There are companies that I grew up with that I thought would always be here, and yet they're gone. So the question is, will you be here in 3 to 5 years? Will your company be here in 3 to 5 years? And what are you doing about it today to make sure that you will be? So when we talk about the world, I meet people who will say, well, Kimberly, I'm just here in my bubble. No one's going to touch it here. Guess what? I was here before I was here. I've been communicating with your team at the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants for probably close to 6 to 7 months. And so if that is the case, that means that just me not physically being here isn't something you're just like, oh, she's not here, I shouldn't be worried. You should be worried because technology means we're only one click away. And so as Jamaica grows and the economy grows, what you don't want is for companies to bring in other accountants. Because you are the supply, you are the experts, you are the professionals. When they're looking for someone to build a new practice area or to lead a new division, they should be here with the Jamaican accountants. It shouldn't be, oh, we got to pull someone else from the U.S. or another island or here or there. Now, that could be what they want to do, but they shouldn't have to do. And so when we talk about change and what does that mean, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, as a profession, we're purposeful, we're data-driven, we don't like ambiguity. We're really good at giving you answers. We're organized. We like checklists because most of us prefer to go down checklists. We're compliant. We make sure we're following the rules. We're rule followers. We're all of those things. And no matter where I go, there are some things about us that are the same no matter where I go. And that's the good news. The bad news is that we're purposeful. We're data-driven. We don't like uncertainty. Because in a time where you have to be innovative, in a time where you need ideas that are so out there that someone says, that'll never work. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ideas that people would say would never work. Because what I know is this, surely they told Larry Ellison that. Surely they probably told Bill Gates that. Surely they told Mark Zuckerberg that. Surely they told any one of the leaders who are here today and are billionaires, they said that'll never work. That's the innovation that we have to open up our minds and hearts to. And that's what we have to recognize in the megatrend environment of changing times. Recognizing that what we do and how we do it has to evolve and change. So we've got some trends. And I'll just give a couple of things that I do to stay abreast of everything. And I know it's hard because you're like, Kimberly, it's so much. I've got kids, I've got work, I've got elderly care, parents, that, elder care I need to do. I get it. It is busy. But somehow you've got to figure out how to source the information when you need it. Now, for me, I have a lot of different data sources. I've got FASB alerts, SEC, the Journal of Accountancy, the Maryland Statement. I've got the Fortune, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, all of these different alerts coming into my phone and into my email so that I'll know what's going on in the business world around me. Because you can't ask really good questions. You can't manage risk if you're isolated. That's why understanding the trends around you are so important, because you're going to miss something if you don't pay attention. And so, yes, you've got to pay attention to Brexit. You've got to pay attention to what's going on in Venezuela and geopolitical instability. Your companies could be multinational, and there's opportunities for you to go and work in different offices. Yes, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the financial world as it relates to who's able to pay their bills and who's going to bankrupt on their obligations, and who, with the tariffs that are currently, that argument that's going back and forth. You have to have enough awareness to know where to go. You don't have to memorize it, but you do need to say, when I need it, where can I go find it? Get that source in your environment. And then from a regulatory complexity perspective, the regulations are changing. There's an opportunity for you to add feedback. I'm sure the Institute would, lobby a position on your behalf if they knew that there was a position. You have to be active participants in the environment that we're in. And I know in Maryland, they'll ask us to write letters. They'll ask us to show up. Hopefully you're showing up and you're participating in your own environment and being an advocate for the profession. And then, of course, the two areas I left were technology and workforce changes. From a technology perspective, we know that in today's world, we've got the Internet of Things. We've got refrigerators that can call out for soda. When you walk in a grocery store, your phone starts beeping with aisle 9, aisle 10. We know that when I grew up, it was the Jetsons, and having a robot in your home was like a thing of unbelievable. It just wouldn't happen. And yet, if I say the wrong word, Google is like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And isn't that nerve-wracking a little bit, right? That they would even wake up to know that you said some word. The world is changing. And so even as we talk about workforce changes, a lot of those workforce changes are coming from our generational differences. Our Zs, born typically in the late 1990s and the 2000s, and our millennial colleagues born in 1980 to about late 90s, they don't want to work the same way that Gen X. I'm a Gen X. And they don't want to work the same way. And I get that. The quality of life, you want to have the ability to have the summer, you want to live, you want to see the world. But you know what? There's no fun without finance. Because how many of you have ever been on a vacation without any money? There is no fun in that. So you need a great job to fund your habits. Our young people can mentor us, our young colleagues. They deserve their seat at the table. Yet at the same time, people who are boomers and traditionalists, they also have context and wisdom. There is a compromise and meeting of the minds. And I'm so delighted that I get to talk about what that means. And so technology is everywhere. And a lot of times, boomers mostly, and some traditionalists, they're in denial sometimes. So if you're in those categories, they say, well, Kimberly, this too shall pass. Well, I don't think social media is going to pass. I mean, I get it, and I say this everywhere I go because I'm going to own it. When Facebook came out, I was years before I actually had a Facebook page, because I was like, who wants to see me at the sunset? Who cares what I had for dinner? I mean, I was just like, does it even matter? And those famous last words, I wouldn't be working now if I'd gotten the stock what I should have. So I say that to say, let's not ignore this by thinking this is going to pass, because it's not. Especially when you see in the manufacturing environments. That was before automation. This is after automation. Now, it might not be your job function, but if you're doing anything that a machine can do, over time, your companies may make tough decisions about who does that work. Okay? So it doesn't have to be scary if you're prepared. So we all need to bring our A game and pay attention to the mega trends, because it's important. We know that technology is driving transformation. If you were able to go into your environment and save money, figure out how to create and drive revenue, enable transformation, imagine how much more valuable you would be. Imagine how well positioned you would be if they were making tough choices.
What are the key points of your presentation this morning?
So the key points of my presentation are that we have to continually evolve and change, and looking at the trends will help us be in a better position.
Is this your first time here at the Chartered Accountants Conference?
Yes! This is amazing. The energy, the enthusiasm. I walked into this room and immediately felt energized, like caffeine. So I'm really excited to be here.
How would you say conferences of this nature benefit the industry?
So conferences like this, and what I really want to call out is that the president talked about doing a conference that wasn't about technical themes. So this conference that talks about other things that make us well-rounded, that give us perspective, that help us grow and learn, I think are amazing, because this is exactly what we need to know. We need to know what's going on in the world around us, and we need to discuss how those help us in our day-to-day jobs and how we may need to change our strategies.
Talk to us about the theme of your presentation, changing times, changing strategies.
So I really followed the conference theme, and I really wanted it to be informative. I wanted it to be a call to action. I wanted to talk about what every person in this room could do to be intentional and to be accountable. And so changing times just speaks to how technology is changing everything, and we need to change our strategies. So I think they're related, and I'm excited about that.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that we are all capable easily of doing what we need. When we talk about inspirational, motivational, hard work, persistence, high integrity, ethics, that's the very definition of the Institute of Chartered Jamaican Accountants. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
If you look at the major economies of the world, so we looked at about 46 or 50 of the major economies, and we said, okay, are they seeing growth or not? And that chart tells you what percentage of those economies is seeing positive growth. And so what you've seen is, this is the first time, going back 10 years, that so many countries around the world, including here in Jamaica, by the way, are seeing strong growth. So it's a good thing, right? We've got, not only do we have strong economic growth globally, it's also synchronized. And that's generally a good thing because you want all countries to be sort of, you want a rising tide that lifts all the boats. The evidence from tariffs is that you end up supporting unproductive companies making horrible products at very high prices. I'm also a Gen Xer, as Kimberly is. I grew up in India. I can testify to crappy products at high prices made by horrible companies that shouldn't have existed, right? And so I'm sure there's folks in this room who can understand that as well. On the business side, we have companies coming in saying, oh, come on, I saw all this big global growth, there was tax reform, I was going to make all these waves of investments to capitalize, now you're telling me my supply chains are going to get messed up. So most companies are sort of in wait and see mode now. There's also a bunch of firms that saying, you know what, I'm going to try to find local substitutes, and are coming to us and saying, I can't find them. I can't find local substitutes. So what am I going to do, right? Now, that's the broad evidence. Personally, I'm actually not sure what's going to happen. If that's what's going to happen, or if we might actually see some benefit, because there are examples, the little thing on the blue, which is hard to read, there are examples where tariffs have worked. Many Asian economies where companies have been protected for a while, as long as there is competition and as long as there's a push for productivity and investment, you actually do see the tariffs sometimes do work. So that gets us to why all of this is happening, which I think is useful for people to understand, certainly from the US perspective. What happens to the exchange rate? So the theory, the economic theory would tell you that all these tariffs at the end of the day are not going to make a difference because the currency will adjust and imports will become cheaper, exports will become more expensive, and you'll end up with a trade deficit again. You might see, a reallocation. So maybe there won't be as much metals imports, but there'll be some other imports, right? And so overall, the trade deficit will remain the same. That's quite possible. One thing that we've seen is when you look at the US dollar against a bunch of its trading partners, one of the reasons we think that the supply chain has gotten hollowed out is because the exchange rate, this is a chart of the US dollar against a bunch of currencies. The US dollar appreciated in the late 90s, and that is coincident with this sort of decline as a domestic supply chain. A lot of people call out attention to China, but it's not just China, it's the appreciation of the dollar. And what we've seen is that the dollar has stayed at a high value against some of these trading partners since then. So against the Japanese, against the Koreans, you've seen that the dollar has stayed high. And so it is entirely possible that the dollar might adjust, which means that we may end up in a situation back in the 1980s, which again has implications for trade. Now, any of you might remember your history. In the early 1980s with the Reagan administration, we went through something similar to what we're going through now, right? Voluntary restraints on imports, tariffs on a bunch of imports. The target then was Japan and Europe. Now it's China. It didn't work. It didn't work because the exchange rate appreciated and the deficit stayed. And so we ended up with what's called the Plaza Accords of 1985, which was a devaluation of the US dollar, effectively. Some of those people who were involved in those negotiations back in the 1980s are in the administration today. So you might see, I personally would be watching for that to see what happens to the exchange rate. But I am here to tell you, as I tell most of the companies that we work with, if you are holding your breath expecting that all this tariff noise will go away, you should probably start breathing. We have a very resilient global economy, strong, sustained growth for several years, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, but you're starting to see this concern. And one of the concerns, the most important concern that we're seeing from businesses is what is happening with all this trade and geopolitical uncertainty. And what is happening is the fact that there is an escalation, no question, and the escalation is happening under trade auspices that give the administration in the US a lot of authority and a lot of leeway to change practices. And if you look at the words that are coming out of the administration, you will see consistent language about this. Most of that is geared towards the third point, that is to turn around 20 years of a decline in the US supply chain and try to make things better there. through more domestic sourcing, through more investment, and through more protectionist policies. And is that going to work? Is anybody's guess? The record, the empirical evidence is not strong. But then we've also not had this kind of a situation where you've got an administration saying, we're going to try to do this.
Give us some feedback on your presentation today.
Well, I think, we wanted to make the point about what's going on with the broader global economy, issues around trade and tariffs, which I know are on top of mind for most people. They are concerned about what they're seeing coming out of the US. And so we wanted to make sure that we kind of covered some of those issues. I think the main point that I wanted to make was that, we are in slightly a different environment where you do have a lot of global growth going on. It's been 10 years since the global economy has been in this situation where there's been such strong growth. And so having these trade issues, these tariffs issues are a little bit of a cloud that a lot of business executives have been telling us are certainly concerns for us. And so that's why we've been developing a perspective on that.
Speak to some of the trends in your field and how they help or harm our local trade.
Well, I think there's a couple of trends that I'd probably call out. One is the fact that, even though you've had very strong global growth, it hasn't translated to the kind of global trade and investment flows that we've got used to at least last decade. So 10 years ago, we were in a strong period of global growth, and there was a lot of global trade, there was a lot of global investment, cross-border flows of services and goods. This time, it's still strong growth, but there's not commensurate growth in trade and investment. And so one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is why that's happening. And then certainly now that you've seen more action on tariffs coming from the US administration, that's also acting as a dampener on further growth of trade and investment. So I think one of the big things that we're seeing is the fact that, most people have been wondering whether the tariffs are really going to, are they going to stick around? Do you just wait it out? And one of the points we've been trying to make is to understand why the tariffs are coming by looking at issues around the domestic supply chain, particularly in some of these advanced industries, where what we've seen is that over the last 20 years or so, the majority of the growth that the American manufacturing sector has seen has not been shared by small and mid-sized companies in the domestic supply chain. All of that growth has gone to the largest companies. And the smaller and mid-sized firms in the domestic supply chain, by and large, have seen negative growth rates. You've seen companies or establishments shutting down. And that matters because the majority of workers, the majority of investment is in that supply chain. And so when the supply chain doesn't see strong growth, it has a knock-on effect on things like wage growth, or investment growth, or technology readiness, or productivity growth, right? And so that's really what we're seeing, or what we're looking for is, when you have this new kind of environment around tariffs, is that combined with things like tax reform, are you actually going to see a wave of investment coming into the supply chain? That's what we're looking for.
Talk to us about what's unique about the design of this conference.
This conference is geared towards getting persons prepared for the change that is happening, the disruption that is happening in the world today, and for our leaders to understand the change and what it means for them. And that's what's unique about it. In fact, that we are focusing on it. It's not really a numbers crunching IFRS conference. It's really a true business conference where we can focus on other things outside of accounting.
What were some expectations that you had of this conference?
First of all, I expected to have a very high level of participation from our members and from the business community. I expect that our presenters would deliver on the topics that were selected for them in accordance with the objectives of the ICAJ. And so far, we are very pleased that we are meeting those objectives. It's changing time, changing strategies, and we really like to impart knowledge to our membership and to the business community, so I think that expectation is paramount.
More from the ICAJ Business Conference when we return.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
If you are just joining us, Business Access TV is here at the Jamaica Pegasus for the ICAJ Annual Business Conference.
Let's talk about encryption for a little bit. Encryption today is not what it used to be. Encryption today is actually very, very simple. I mean, you can do it on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablets with just a couple of clicks. So by all means, encrypt the data that you consider sensitive. It's very easy to do, and it's a very, very effective way to achieve data security. If an app that you're looking at or looking at installing, if it seems too good to be true, chances are it really is too good to be true. I mean, this one app is not going to change the world with just a couple of clicks. That's not impossible. You want to ensure that only the applications that you have on your devices are the applications that are necessary for the execution of your function, of your job function. So don't have things that are installed on there that, you know, is just on there just because it looks kind of cool. It's nice to have that sort of stuff. Many times those apps, especially the ones that seem too good to be true, all they are backdoors for stealing your data. Email is the most widely used tool to compromise data security. It's a low-hanging fruit. The truth is, hackers by nature are actually very lazy people that really don't have to work hard for what it is that they're getting. So if they can do something, if they can send out 1 million emails with malicious content or malicious link, all they're really interested in is that 100 people click on it. They're not really interested that 1 million people have actually clicked on it. And really and truly is, as a hacker, they actually don't want to be in your environment, because if they're in your environment, then the likelihood of getting caught increases. So if they can do it remotely, it's much better for them. And they do that by email, by sending an email with a compromised link or a compromised attachment. So always think before you click on any form of attachments that with any email at all. I'll actually take a step back and say to you, think before you even open the email. Because I've seen situations today where the email will come with an attachment, but the attachment is a self-executing attachment. So once you click on the email itself, the attachment executes in the background, steals your data. I know there's a practice that, you know, especially for people who use Outlook, to have the preview pane of the email up and running, because it makes life easier. It is, because you can quickly glance at the preview pane and say, all right, this is what it's about, and you can make a decision about whether to act or not to act. I'd actually recommend that you turn it off, because those self-executing emails actually run once the preview pane comes up. Another thing that you want to do is you want to keep your systems up to date. You want to ensure that the applications that are running on your devices, whether it's your phone, your tablet, or your computer, are up to date. Nearly all the time a vendor releases an update, it's nearly always to fix a security hole. Oftentimes, it's, you know, a small portion of the time is for functionality. If they're going to release functionality, they actually release a new version of the application. But once they publish an update for the application, nearly all the time, it is a security-related hole that they're trying to fix. There are so many vulnerabilities that exist today with so many applications that, you know, you have to, as soon as a newer version comes out, you want to ensure that you keep your system up to date and install the latest versions of software. It's often you have applications or you have data on your devices, and the usage of that data is just, you know, you have it just because. No, don't keep data on your machine just because you need to have it on there. Because it becomes unused over time, it becomes old and you forget about it, and then the next time you remember about it is when you're in the headlines because, you know, suddenly company data is out there, your machine was compromised, and you remember, oh, I had this folder on my machine. One of the things that we recommend is that if you, once you're done, you set expiration on the data sets that you're using. So once you're done with something, after the reasonable reporting period has passed, move it, archive it into a secure location, an offsite storage or something like that. Now, backup is often not associated with security. It's often associated with other components of IT. But backup is actually a very important component in security. If we think back to the security triad, backup is affected by the availability component of that triad. Now, think of if, for argument's sake, you suffered a compromise of any kind and your data becomes corrupt or lost or anything like that. The absence of a functioning or a proper backup means that the data is no longer available. It means that the system is no longer available. It means that the application is no longer available. And you have failed the availability component of the triad, and therefore you have failed data security. So it's very important to have verifiable backups. Don't just back up your data and say, all right, fine, I'll copy these files over to this folder, I'll run the backup process in this application, and it has copied the file and stored them in a location, in a secure location. Always verify them. We've seen an example where we were called in to investigate a compromise, and the compromise was so bad that we said to the customer, look, give me a backup set, let's start to recover from the backup set. And they diligently showed us the log of their backups. The backup happened every night. The technician checked it off that it was backed up and so on. But when we went to the backup was actually compromised as well. So they're ticking it off that it's being backed up, but nobody is checking to say, is this backup a backup of the compromised data? It just so happens that it was backup of the compromised data, but the backup runs and it says it's completed successfully, and they tick the box. Yes, we've backed up our data. One of the things that I'd recommend here also is that security awareness training, one of the things that we try to do is we try to connect it personally. I know a lot of times, people are doing their jobs and they kind of abstract their work life from their personal life. So one of the things that we do is we try to connect security and data security in particular to your own personal situation. So we'll talk about things like, consider things like how would a compromise of your bank accounts affect you personally, right? And think about all the emotions and everything that goes with that. You can't pay a mortgage and all of that sort of stuff. Think about what will happen if that exact same compromise would happen in the company's bank accounts. People can't get paid, suppliers can't get paid, and that sort of stuff. So one of the things I do, if you try to connect it on a personal level, and you see the gravity or the impact of the situation personally, then it's easier to translate that into business. Achieving data security is not a line in the sand that you draw and you say, boy, all right, I've done all of these things, so my data is now secure. It's a continual process. You have to keep assessing. You have to keep looking at your data needs, your data assets, and saying, all right, is the risk that we face today the same tomorrow? And you have to continually improve. It's a process of continual improvement. I think in security in the security circles we have a common thought that there are really just two types of businesses in the world: those who have been hacked and those who don't know they've been hacked. And that's a reality. It takes about, the average security incident takes about 30 days to be discovered. And for companies that their pockets are, they're deep and they're invested in it, it may take another 180 days to recover from it. So it could be up to a year in many instances that you don't even know that you've been compromised. Many businesses don't ever recover from a compromise. So to achieve data security, do something. There are many things on the list that are simple to do. They're low-hanging fruits. Just do them. Because doing something is much better than doing nothing and assuming that you've never had a compromise.
The way the technology is going now, it's not even a race for relevance. It's a race for survival. Because if you're not with it, you're going to die. Right? In fact, you have to be savvy. So I was tempted to come up here with paper, but make sure I come with the iPhone. Because if you go anywhere you're presenting now from paper, you're not cutting it. So sometimes when you don't have anything on the phone, you carry it up here, so, right? And some people do it, you know that? Yeah, man, them walk up with the phone and, yes, and moving and touching on the phone, right? But it's the look, right? And it's the image. And we're going to talk about the image because we really have to change it. Because obviously technology affords us to do things cheaper, more efficient, all of the above in terms of that. So there are some opportunities there for us finance people. So what's the imperative of our finance professional? First of all, we have to apprise ourselves with the technology that's available across. Right? We're going to discuss some of them, but what I'm saying is that whatever we can do in this small window cannot replace the plethora of different applications that are out there. So as a finance professional within your industry, you have to be researching, talking to IT, looking overseas to ensure that you're aware what is out there. Companies are going through rapid technological change. It's emotionally charged. Every day you hear that there's a list coming out, and you wonder if you're named upon the list. Nobody understand what I'm talking about? It's reality, right? So when we're doing technological changes, right, it calls for proper leadership. And it can happen in many ways. You can even get sabotaged. Because if you don't treat people well, they can sabotage you in the transformation process. So this managing of the organizational impact is key. And I would recommend that if it is major enough, get what we call change management help. Right? You may need people who are adept at change management to guide you through this process. Focus on talent and skills. Very critical. The skills that we needed yesterday and the talent are not necessarily what we need today and going forward. And that's one of the challenges that we have. Some tough decisions may have to be taken, and we may have to redeploy people. But you have to make sure that we have the right talent and skill to take their organization forward based on the new technologies that we are applying. Cashier-free store. Real. Amazon has this. You have an Amazon card. You just walk into the store, you swipe, go in, take what you want, leave, and the process send the bill to you. Nobody's involved. Understand that implications for that. In fact, a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was in Israel and on a tour. And in there you can do the Israel tour. It's a very good tour. But we stopped at a gas station with the tour guide and put the nozzle in his tank, full up, drove out. Asked him, nobody was involved. He explained to me that the nozzle has a microchip, and so does the car tank. The amount of gas that he's taking is recorded, transmitted by a bill to his company from the gas station. Nobody involved. Right? So I saw that, and it wasn't even last year, this is over 2 years ago. This is a sign of where we are and where we are going. So I'm just putting these things up there. And if you want to research it, fine. But I'm just trying to tell you, because we used to talk about the future. The Heptones have a song that said, the future is here, my dear. Because the future is here. So all of what we're talking about, we used to talk about their emerging technologies. Nah, the technology is here. We have to be very cognizant of social media. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm on all of them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Because we have communicated and keeping in touch with your team members, knowing what they're doing, your children, your niece and nephew and all of that, this social media thing. So I'm saying to us as chartered accountants, don't have any phobia about it. Get with the program. So our job is not to be fearful of what is happening. Our job is to adapt to the change and make sure that we can perform as professionals under the new systems. Right? Our brain, Tavi. In fact, let's say a man's brain, it start work from in his mother's womb and don't stop work at all right until adulthood. When a man's brain stop work, when his wife asks him, where were you last night, honey? That's the only time a man's brain stop work. Right? But seriously, the computers cannot really replace us. But they will make us redundant if we don't adapt to change. So in summary, as I said before, I didn't intend to give you a technical presentation. I really want to give you what you call a reality check to make sure that you understand that these technologies, I mean, I've been part of change process for a number of years, but never before have I seen so much coming at me in a short space of time. You understand? It's not like one time when you have a little time, you don't have no room for error. It's coming, right? Rapid, rapid, rapid. And I'm saying, as accountants, we have to deal with it, grasp opportunities, make things better for ourselves and the organization, and just don't let the bus leave us. All in all, before wrapping up, the question is, are you ready? And I hope you're ready.
PwC is a sponsor here today. Talk to us about that partnership.
Yeah, well, PwC, we are very happy to sponsor this conference. The Institute, we have been sponsoring it a few years now. We think it's a very important conference for accountants to maintain their relevance in a very dynamic environment. We think it's value for money to get all stakeholders on board on a conference like this, to share some very good ideas, cover some good topics. So we are always on board and we'll continue to be on board with it.
Today you are also a presenter. Speak to us about the main points of your presentation.
The topic of my presentation was professional accountants maintaining relevance in the digital age. So it's all to do with us as accountants moving with the pace of technology, because we all know technology is taking over almost everything. So we have to ensure that we take steps to make sure that we are relevant. There are opportunities, there are challenges. So my talk, my presentation covered a number of emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, cyber security, cloud computing, number of different areas. Encouraging the accountants to get on board, familiarize yourself with all these technologies to ensure that you can function properly in the digital age.
Outside of functioning properly in the digital age, what advice would you give young professionals who want to become accountants?
Well, it's a noble profession. I don't think there's a profession that gives you the wide insight into businesses as auditing and accounting. It's really broad-based. I would encourage youngsters to take a serious look at it. I think career choice is very critical. You have to look at something that you have the aptitude for, something that can pay your bills, and something, that you like, because those three have to go together. So that's my advice. I'm not going to go to say everybody must turn an accountant. Do the research and make sure. But I'm telling you that's an attractive profession. It's a plethora because of activities, because you have auditors, you have forensic auditors, you have internal auditors, you have financial analysts, chief accountants. So there's a wide range in the profession that you can get into.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour. Bullseye for Eyes Summer Sale. Try your luck at the Bullseye and get up to 40% off your frames. Land on the Bullseye and your eyeglasses are completely free. This summer, July 15th to August 31st, everyone is a winner at Island Eyewear. Conditions apply. Call 630-1180 or visit islandeyewear.com. Island Eyewear. Your price, your style.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I'm pleased to be here to talk to you about T-Tech. T-Tech is the first company to be listed on the Junior Stock Exchange and as an IT firm, and we provide managed services to persons in the IT space. So if you have network servers to be managed, we will look after that for you, provide a service desk. We also help you to implement your cybersecurity program.
Why did you decide to be a sponsor here today?
Well, one, we work closely with members of financial profession because they tend to also supervise IT professionals, and also we recognize that the financial profession needs to understand the importance of cybersecurity.
Give us some clarity on BPOs and share some benefits.
Well, in terms of clarity, overall it's an industry that's very people-centric. So it hires a lot of folks, and it also enables their growth and development. And if I were to think of some what you'd call advantages of the industry, I would say, simply put, it creates options that are not limited by age, race, nationality, or any other factor that usually impacts corporate America. In my example, personally, I was a vice president at age 25 in a Fortune 500 company. There's not many industries that take that kind of a chance on someone who is young and who does not necessarily meet the status quo. These conferences from a BPO perspective, for me, the biggest advantage is there's a lot of negative perception and a lot of negative press out there about the industry. And what it does, it deters people who could really have an impact to come in and succeed. So from functions like this, my intention is always to correct those myths and to ensure that people view the industry in a positive light, because it is indeed a positive industry.
So talk to us about CPA Canada. What do you guys do?
Sure. CPA Canada, CPA, Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada. We are Canada's national accounting designation. But as much as I say Canada, we are 100% recognized globally. As such, we are affiliate members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica and recognized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean. Basically, if someone wants to become an accountant, they usually do a first degree, sometimes they choose to do a second. But at some point in time, they need to become a qualified accountant. Accountancy, like other professions, are highly governed, and as a result, one needs to choose a designation to qualify under. CPA Canada is one such option. It is 100% available to persons who are living in Jamaica. Fortunately, it's 2018, and there's no longer the need to actually go to Canada to earn the designation. Someone can actually sit in Jamaica, continue working, enjoy their family life, and study at the same time. This is actually our second year as a sponsor of the ICAJ conference. It's a great opportunity for us to maintain connections and ties and support our members who are based in Jamaica. So some of these persons who are present here today are actually Canadian CPAs active in Jamaica. And it's also a good touch point for the younger ones who are still undecided as to what designations they want to do. And for those who are qualified, we have a lot of certificate programs that they can now subscribe to. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I particularly like this conference because it's not just 100% accounting topics per se, which can get very technical. It's more of a business conference and really touches issues that are affecting us in the business community today.
Speak to us about the mandate of the ICAJ.
So the ICAJ is the institute that governs the accounting profession. So our members are those persons who have qualified in accountancy to earn the designation as chartered accountants. So essentially our job is to engage with those members, help manage them through their career, and to provide for new members a training of students and the coaching and mentorship of students so that they can become chartered accountants one day. So this is a business conference, and the theme is meant to be there for covering non-accounting issues, because we're trying to attract an audience other than our traditional membership. So the last 3 years, we've done the Megatrends hashtag. So that's why it's 3.0, Megatrends 3.0. The feedback has been extremely positive. I think people like the topics. I've got very positive feedback on the speakers themselves. There's good energy in the room, there's good buzz. So from that perspective, the conference has met our objectives. We have probably our largest delegate list ever, just over 300 people. There are about 50 people online. So from a total attendance, yes, it probably has checked that box. From a diversity of the persons who are attending, I think we've fallen a bit short. So we need to figure out how we bring more people into the discussion. This is not intended to be focused only on accountants. So to the extent that we wanted to see more bankers, attorneys, other professions, engineers. We have a topic coming up on the environment and disposal of plastics and how we manage plastics in our economy, what challenges and opportunities that present. That's not an accounting discussion. That's a discussion that anyone who lives and works in Jamaica should be interested in. And so diversity, I think we can improve that. From a production perspective, I think, again, this year we have done a better job than prior years. So we're continuously improving, but I think we can still take the production level up a notch. We want it to be a really high impact type of conference. So you feel as if at the moment you walk in that this is something new and different every year. So we're going to work on those two aspects in the future.
There you have it, another staging of the ICAJ Business Conference. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goals.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them, teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production and going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
Hi, I'm Roderick Francis, CEO of B&D Trawling Limited. The business was actually started by my father about 35 years ago. And, when he died in 2011, I officially took over the spot as head of the business, but I've been working with him in the business for over 10 years prior to his death. We have been established from 1980, and my father has always been involved in boating and boats, and his father was a marine pilot, so he's been around boats all his life and fishing all his life. So at that point in time, I guess he wanted to make a commercial activity out of it, and people love seafood, so I guess it was a natural transition for him. My dad funded it out of pocket. He already had some boats, so started with his boats that he had, and then when he was able, he purchased, really specific kind of commercial fishing boats, and then took it from there. B&D Trawling's mandate is to provide the highest quality seafood to the global marketplace. So the two main items that we export all over the world are conch and lobsters. They're all fished in the Jamaican waters, and we're also recently fishing deep water snappers as well. We cater to the seafood lovers and people who love quality seafood. There's a trend around the world for healthy food now, and the thing is that Jamaicans don't understand what they really have. So what we have is pristine, untouched waters. So there are people all over the world that come and are looking for fish and seafood that are grown naturally in a healthy environment. So we produce the quality Jamaican products and export it all over the world. So we export to China, we export to USA, Canada, Singapore, Thailand, all over. We've recently started the importation of some products that are not available locally here. So we have partnered with a major seafood distributor in the US, which we have been exporting to for over 30 years by the name of Beaver Street. Their brand is Seabest, and we have been packaging products under their brand for over 30 years. And it was just a natural progression for us to start distributing the brand here in Jamaica, including the Jamaican line of products as well as other products that are not locally available here, such as salmon and shrimp and scallops. What makes us unique is that, we sell our product to the first world. So Jamaicans on a whole love quality seafood. That's why they go to the beach and stand up and wait for the fisherman to come with his boat and come up, and they get it fresh there. So what we are doing and what makes us different is we really try to bring that to the customer without the hassle. So, you don't have to go down to the beach to fight for your fish. You can come to our outlet, you can come and you can get the same quality that you get there, or even better, at an affordable price and in a great environment. So what makes us different, what makes us competitive? Mainly, again, the quality of our produce. So initially, the funding was put up by my father, but one of the great growers or facilitators of our business has been our partner, Exim Bank, and really they have helped us to really grow the company rapidly in the direction that we have wanted, with low cost financing, US dollar loans and things like that. We are a profitable company, and we continue to grow our product range and product line, so we're on a very good profitable path. Where our business is located is very strategic. We're located on the port of Kingston, which is strategic not only for vessels to dock here, but also in close proximity to the airport, as well as to the Kingston Wharves and Kingston Container Terminal, which most of our goods go out on. So it's very strategic. It also helps us to increase the quality of our product, because usually there may be one other plant in Jamaica that is located on the waterfront. So what this does for us is increase the quality that we're able to produce. So it comes directly from the boat into the plant, instead of coming by boat, then travel by land and going everywhere. So that's how we keep our quality increased as well. We employ over 200 persons here, and there are mostly women from the inner city communities or surrounding communities. And we very much believe in community development and supporting our surrounding communities. So the first place we look is right in our neighboring communities, where, you know, jobs are hard to find. And we look there, and we have been very happy with the quality of workmanship which we have got so far. In the management level now, we look for the best people, because I believe, for me, no matter what it costs, to have the best people. And it goes all around. I'm not saying that the lower level people are not the best. Yes, we do have some of the best people in the fishing industry here that come from the inner city communities, yes, as well. But we look for, on the higher level, we look for education is very, very important. Experience is very, very important on the higher level. The majority of the workers are based in our processing plant. So they would have several divisions of the processing plant. So all throughout the process, so they would come in, you would have ladies filleting or cutting the product. Then you would have people washing the product. Then you would have people weighing the product. Then you would have people bagging the product all the way through to the end process, and until it's loaded into a container and shipped. Our culture is definitely family-oriented. When my dad started this business and he was here, you know, he was very much a family man, and everybody, every employee that has been here, some of them from the beginning, we still have employees that have been here for 35 years with us. And it's just a family environment. We can have an open door policy. Anybody can come and talk, and any issue, it can be outside of business, anything, and we all come together and help each other when we need it. Typically, I work about 12 hours per day, so about 9 to 9 in office, and then, you know, plant workers work on a shift basis as well. So some persons may come in at 6 o'clock and leave earlier, some may come in at 10 and leave later, so it's flexi hours, and sometimes during the lobster season, or most times, we have a night shift as well. Being an entrepreneur is very tough, especially a business owner, and time management is a very, very tough task. So the major challenge will be to balance, you know, work and life, and, you know, home life, and being a young family member, or I would say having a young family, it's very, very tough, and you have to kind of carve out time for your family and make sure that you make that time, because basically it's your business, you're so enthusiastic about it, you want it to succeed, and then so you put all your time and your effort and everything into it, and really try to keep it as vibrant as possible. And a lot of the times when you do that, you know, your personal life suffers. So the challenge now is being able to really create that balance.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As CEO, you know, you always really want to think about the big ideas. Where do you want to take the company? What is your vision? And what are your goals? So, you know, I spend a lot of time sitting down and thinking about where we want to go and what we want to do. And out of that, then the ideas come. So you kind of focus on the consumer, focus on the market and see where it's shifting, see where it's going to be tomorrow, and kind of innovate before, so that when the market shifts, you'll be in that position to really take advantage of the market. The most important thing for us here, you know, we're competing on a global market. You know, we're competing in first world companies. We mainly ship to Europe, so you know, these people know seafood, they know quality products, and you know, you really have to have a quality product. That's number one. Number two, if you're talking about retail or service, the customer experience has to be good. So one of the things we focus on really in our pop-up kitchen that we do once a month is really focusing on an authentic experience. You know, so when you come down, you can really feel a natural Jamaican environment and all local produce, and really get that natural feel that the customer will feel at home and want to come back. Being an entrepreneur and running your own business, you know, there are going to be challenges every day. If you don't have challenges every day, then there's a problem. But it's just how you deal with those challenges. Being a primarily export company, our main challenges are red tape issues, or having, you know, a competitive environment here. So when I speak about competitive environment, again, we're competing on a global marketplace. So our competitors have access to cheap fuel, cheap electricity, cheap labor, all of those things. You know, that's what we're competing against. And Jamaica doesn't necessarily have some of those items. So you really have to kind of be innovative and creative and try to, you know, get in a niche where you can create that efficiency to be able to compete globally. My failures have been too many to mention, so I'm not going to really single out any failure, but I can say, you know, I fail all the time, and anybody who doesn't fail or hasn't failed has never been or never will be successful. So failure is not the problem, is how you recover from failure. And that's one of the main success factors of an entrepreneur. So the successful people, they will learn from their failures, and what John C. Maxwell would say is fail forward. So you would fail and build up from it. Now, if you fail and you keep making the same mistakes over and over, then you're going to be in a problem. So it's just how you react to the failures and how you overcome them and keep going. You try to prevent as many mistakes as possible, but it's part of the failure. You know, you can't prevent mistakes. Mistakes will happen, things will happen, markets will change, everything will change, and you just have to react, and you have to react quickly and in a positive way. So you can't really say that you're going to stop mistakes. Again, you don't want to repeat the mistakes. You make it one time and you put measures in place not to make those mistakes. But it's just a simple, continuous improvement process that you keep going on, and little by little you improve, and minimize the mistakes. Well, definitely growth strategies, we're looking at now diversifying our product range. So a big part of what we do is export, but we have never primarily been in the local market or distributed in the local market. So we have just started that now to actually distribute in the local market, and the actual response has been overwhelming. So, you know, what we do is basically to grow, we now expand into different areas and looking now at acquisitions and things like that to grow the company. Our most successful form of marketing thus far has been social media. It's really on the cutting edge right now. Jamaica, being lovers of phones, lovers of TV and computers and that kind of stuff, you know, social media is really taking it to the next level now. And really, if you want to stay on top of your game and grow your business here and overseas, the best tool right now, most effective tool is social media. Right now, for social media, one of the biggest tools that we use are video and actually, you know, cooking tutorials, things like that, you know, which get people engaged and get them trying your product and testing it and reviewing it and that kind of stuff. So definitely moving more towards video. For me, I'm willing to go to the ends of the earth to succeed, because for me, failure is not an option. I must succeed, I will succeed, and for me, as long as I keep that attitude, I will succeed. One of the best things you can do, or one of the main laws for success, is having a positive attitude. I really can't stress it enough. But there's a book, one of my favorite books, called The Law of Success, written by Napoleon Hill. And anybody who is really interested in being successful, they really need to read that book. And it lays out really all the different points of what becoming successful entails and how you get there. But one of the main things, of course, is knowing where you want to go, knowing what you want to do, and keeping it on the forefront of your mind, and just pushing every day to achieve that goal. I define success as, you know, balance. And, you know, when I mean balance, sometimes people value success as having money or having, you know, material things. I don't really view that as success. For me, success, I view it as being to help people. So I have a business so that people can be employed and generate, you know, income, that kind of stuff, and have a healthy lifestyle. So when I talk about successful, I talk about having good relationships with your family, having a balanced lifestyle, healthy lifestyle in terms of, you know, just the food you eat, everything, you know. So success for me is a balance of work, personal life, and charitable things. Of course, I have fears, you know. My greatest fear, I would say, you know, there's always a fear of going out of business or you know, that kind of fear. But, you know, I don't really fear it. The fear is always in the back of your mind, and that's why you always have to, you know, be on top of your game, really push hard, to be, successful in business and really stay on top of the things that make your business successful. So it's there in the back of my mind, pushing me like with a stick there to keep doing my best, keep going the extra mile. But failure it fuels me.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
If you want to be successful, you really have to have what Mr. Hill would call a definite purpose. So what it really is where you want to go, what you want to do, where you want to be. That's what fuels me. I have a goal. As CEO, you set the large targets. And, once you set that large targets, then you're going to have to set some smaller targets along the way. So what fuels me is really achieving those goals. So you set those goals and you achieve them. Basically, it really fuels you. So it gives you a boost when you achieve a goal and you know that you're on the right path and you know that you're getting somewhere. So that's what really fuels me. I have many inspirers, but first and foremost, I look to my dad and his legacy and really upholding his legacy and really what he brought to the table. So, he inspires me and had always inspired me to do better than he did and carry it to the next level. And, we've been trying and been really doing well at that. So, inspire. Yes, start with my father, and then, there are many persons. You have Martin Luther King, you have Barack Obama, you have all these really positive people that, you gain inspiration over time with, and, you're trying to align yourself with their ideals and just push forward. Favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur is the kind of shifting landscape and the thrill of actually owning your own business and knowing that what you put in is directly related what you're going to get out of it. So you really spend a lot of time putting in a lot of energy, knowing that you're going to get the results. I attribute my success mainly to my team. Number one, you have to have a solid team. So you really have to have the best people on board and you really have to be aligned and work well and mesh well together on a common goal and really move forward together. I don't have one event that I can single out to say that has been my most satisfying moment. You go back and you look at it and you set your overall large goal, and in between you have your small goals. And the most satisfying moments are when you achieve your milestones or your small goals along the way, and it really gratifies you. I mean, any entrepreneur, any business owner is going to have to make many sacrifices. You make sacrifices in time, you make sacrifices in money, you make all sorts of sacrifices. And believe me, I don't think there's a time when you stop sacrificing. But the challenge is really to create a balance. So, now, you really invest a lot of your time into your business, and you really have to try and spend some time with the family as well, and really know that business is not everything in life, even though, you really want to push and remain successful. Non-work time, I'm a seaman, so love to go out on the boats or go out on the water, that kind of stuff. I really enjoy doing that. What makes me happy? Being healthy, having a great family, that really makes me happy. And achieving my goals. Well, future plans, definitely we want to, on a smaller scale, open up a 5-star seafood restaurant down here on the downtown Kingston waterfront. We're looking at building a new plant, which will cost us about 20 million US, state-of-the-art plant. So we're looking to expand, we're looking to do new things, but remain focused on export so we can really bring in that foreign exchange and stop the sliding dollar. So if you want to start your own business, my first piece of advice would be to get your education. Education is extremely important in an extremely competitive business environment. So number one, get a college education. Number two, you need to always go the extra mile. So if you want to start your business, you really have to go over and above and go the extra mile in doing your business. Third, don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail, and it's just how you react to those failures which will make the difference between your success and the other person. So you really need to push forward and just don't give up. Number one, just don't give up. Keep pushing.
Advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The University of the West Indies campus, Mona, has long been known to provide a wide range of housing solutions for full-time students, but things have evolved. Under a new public-private partnership agreement, 138 Student Living is offering even more solutions. find out more on this episode of Home Sweet Home. I'm here with Jason McKenzie, Director of the Office of Student Services and Development. Now, Jason, we're going to talk a little about accommodation on campus. Was that something that you always provided?
Absolutely. The UWI is very keen on ensuring that students who come to the campus are comfortably housed. And so we have in excess of 4,000 rooms on the campus. Wow. And we seek to ensure that our students are able to benefit from comfortable living while having access to the facilities on campus. So easy access to the library, easy access to classes, a secure environment while being able to grow, to learn, and to interact with their peers from all across the world. So we have 10 halls of residence on the campus with varying styles of accommodation at different costs as well. But importantly, our students are able to benefit from a living, learning community where they are interacting with students from different backgrounds, where they're able to benefit from a range of developmental programs that we have organized specifically for them as they continue on a journey to become the distinctive UWI graduate.
Now, 138 Student Living is now on board giving supplemental accommodation to the university. Give us some feedback about that partnership.
We have in excess of 18,000 students at the Mona campus. And it's important that we increase the number of rooms or beds to be able to adequately accommodate students who are interested in living on campus. And so we have a wonderful partnership with 138 Student Living that has come on board to build some modern, new facilities to help us with accommodating our students. So it's a growing partnership. The facilities are really world class, and our students do enjoy living in those facilities. And we continue to grow together as we continue to seek to meet the housing needs of our campus.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for speaking with us. With that background of accommodation on campus, it's time for us to meet 138 Student Living.
I'm John Lee. I'm chairman of 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited. In my former life at PricewaterhouseCoopers, I spent a number of years doing public-private partnerships. And what that means is that it's bringing an industry, creating an industry or an entity that will provide public services that government or quasi-government institutions would ordinarily provide, but because of the lack of funding, they're going to the private sector. I've always felt that there is a need for student housing, primarily because my wife has done a number of developments around the Mona area, and most of the people who became tenants were students. So it led us to this. So our mandate is to provide roughly 2,300 rooms over a 4-year period that world-class, that will attract students who are interested in paying for full fee courses. PPPs is a structure that is sustainable, and it provides much needed infrastructure when the country cannot afford to finance it ordinarily.
We are now joined by Anthony from 138 Student Living, who is very excited to tell us about the company. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So talk to us about 138 Student Living and what exactly it is that you guys do.
We're a listed Jamaican company. We provide world-class accommodation at the UWI Mona campus. Essentially, we finance, construct, and operate housing accommodations on campus. We do this through a concession agreement with UWI. And just to give some of the viewers a background, obviously, a concession agreement is just a contract between a private company, 138, and an institution, UWI, for the private company to operate on the institution's premises or on their jurisdiction, subject to certain conditions. These conditions now, on UWI's side, they are to provide lands for our buildings, and they guarantee 90% occupancy in all our buildings. And on our side, we are to finance, construct, and operate over 2,300 rooms on campus.
Okay.
So that's 138 basically in a nutshell. This partnership with UWI, one, is a medium to develop education in Jamaica, two, to develop the facilities at UWI. As well, the partnership provides a unique investment opportunity to all our stakeholders, as the project provides stable returns to all our partners, investors, and financiers.
And tell us about the funding of these sorts of projects.
Okay, well, obviously we're a listed company, so for the initial funding, it was done through an IPO about 3 years ago. For the buildings now, we have used a combination of short-term construction loans with the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. These are then closed out through the issuance of medium-term and long-term bonds, which the take-up has been very good. So to date, the project has been extremely successful. All operational, construction, and financial targets have been met as outlined in our prospectus. So at this stage, 2 years in the game, we are where we need to be.
And other than student living, I understand that there are some other products that you guys offer. Tell us about those.
Okay, well, definitely. At our core, we are accommodation providers, so we only offer accommodations. But we like to view ourselves as having 3 classes of products. So firstly, the student living, as you mentioned. This is currently a pool of 888 rooms where we house undergraduate students for 9 months to 1 year, or students in general, I shouldn't say undergraduate.
Right.
So to qualify for that, obviously, you just have to be a student enrolled on a UWI course. Then we have a pool of 120 rooms for short-term rentals. This is done at our Jeralela property, which you will do a tour with Dominic, our project coordinator. We have a pool of 48 rooms, and then he'll also bring you to another one of our facilities, the 138 SL Halls of Residence. That's another 72 rooms, so that accounts for 122 rooms available year-round for short-term accommodation. Thirdly, we have our summer program. This is quite exciting, where obviously during the period June 1st to August 15th, all the students depart and UWI becomes a virtual ghost town, so to say. So 138 in tandem with UWI, we've decided to revitalize summer on campus because, as Jason would have probably mentioned, we have over 18,000 persons on campus, and over the summer this probably drops to like about 5,000. So for this summer and for summers going forward, we'll be pushing marketing over 3,000 rooms on campus, and it accommodates all budgets from as low as US $20 for rooms.
And then define short-term rentals. What's the duration we're looking at?
With students, it's 9 months to 1 year. So essentially, we define our short-term rentals as anything from daily to 6-9 months, really.
It could be a night, or it could be a couple months.
Precisely.
But before we go any further, Anthony, we take our first break on Home Sweet Home, and when we return, more 138. Stay tuned.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home. If you're just joining us, we're at UWI Mona looking at some of the living solutions offered by private company 138 Student Living. Now, I know you're eager to see the facility, so to help us with that and take us on a little tour is Dominic. Welcome, Dominic.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Okay, so this right here we have is our Leslie Robinson Hall. It is 3 halls. This is the primary halls for undergraduate students. Each hall contains 144 rooms. And then right by here we have our Gerald Layla flats, which we use for short-term accommodation. So we're going to head over to our short-term accommodation now.
Okay.
Okay, so each resident needs a key card to have access to the building. Mine is in my wallet, so you just put it against the sensor.
Okay, so you don't even need to take it out.
No, you don't.
That's good.
After you, okay. Yes, so this is the living area, and you can have a seat and I'll run through exactly what we have to offer. All right?
Oh, this thing is so comfy.
Yes, so first of all, we offer very comfortable seating, all right?
Not that I didn't think it would have been. It's very comfy.
So whenever you're ready to sit and relax, cable television, you can just sit and enjoy yourself. And the point to know, Candy, is that here used to be for postgrad and it was renovated. The capacity was increased and we transform it into the now Gerald Layla flat.
Okay.
Also, as you can see, we offer our kitchen facilities here. So you have a stove, have a microwave, everything comes with. And then we have 4 rooms to our cluster. So this is the shared area for the 4 individuals staying here. However, each room has an en-suite bathroom, a closet, a bed. We provide a fan as well. And then we also provide linen, so shower curtains, toiletries. Right. So the room is fully booked and ready for the resident to stay with us.
And each room can facilitate just one person?
No, we also do provide double occupancy as well. So what we do is to provide 2 single beds in the room and they'd be able to stay in there as well. Also, we do have cases where couples come. We charge a double occupancy rate of $97.50 and they can stay on a double bed. And a special feature of our short-term accommodation is that we provide housekeeping service. So what happens is that the housekeepers come in, they clean here every day. However, on special requests, you can also ask them to clean your room and they'll come in, change out the linens, the towels, do the laundry for you, as well as to fix up the room on your
And
request.
is that an additional cost to the persons who are staying here?
Well, with our rack rate of $65, it's included.
Okay, okay, not bad at all. Is it that the people living in this cluster, do they have to know each other? Is it a group thing, or can 4 separate people book the same unit?
Okay, well, another feature of our short-term accommodation as well is that we tend to put like-minded individuals together. However, if it's a group occasion, we'd put the groups together in clusters.
And what about meals? Do I have to source my own meals?
We actually offer a meal plan for our guests. So we partner with SCR and they provide breakfast, lunch and dinner for our guests at an additional cost.
And SCR is?
The Senior Common Room.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you very much. It's a very nice setup. Oh, and a nice comfortable bed too.
I definitely like the fact that all the bedrooms have their own ensuite bathroom.
Alright, so what was your thoughts on our accommodation?
No, I really like it. Very convenient, very cute setup, something for everybody in there. The individual bathrooms, like I said, I really like that. So
I am really glad that you enjoyed it.
thank you very much. Hi guys. Hi.
Hello. Okay, so right here we have a group from Austria. Remember we spoke about groups and like-minded people? So we put them together and this is their cluster.
The good thing about here is like the track is really close, so we don't have to like drive really far, and we've got everything we need here.
And the weather is nice.
Yeah, the weather is nice, so we can train and yeah.
Okay, great. Right, so it's down here.
Yes, so it's newly built. It has a nice feel to it as mentioned before, and it is located close to the police station. And as we've been saying, we offer exceptional services, and every block on this side has its own elevator.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, man. So we don't have to do the stairs, you know?
We have to do the stairs.
We're stepping it up, stepping it up.
Left or right?
All right, so as I've been saying, here at 138, we take security very important. So we have an access card for each floor. So someone on the 3rd floor wouldn't be able to get on this floor. After you. No problem. All right, so over here by our 138 SL Haldorf residence, the first thing you can notice, it's a bigger space, right? As mentioned earlier, it's a cluster of 12. We have 6 single room on one side and 6 double room on the other side. All right, so at any given point in time, we can have 18 persons here on the floor. All right. We also have a kitchen area. It's way bigger than by Jarlila. We can go into that later. It contains the same setup as well as 2 additional burners, obviously to facilitate the huge amount of people, yes. Each room has its own in-suite bathroom as usual, the miniature fridge, closet, almost the same setup, but over here has a newer feel as it's been recently built up. All right. We also have the cupboards over there where students can hold their food items and so on, just in case, because as I said, we're dealing with a lot more people over here, so we need these things in place for that. We also offer deep freeze. As I was saying, storage, we have a lot more people here, so you can also store the stuff in the deep freeze as well. All right, so now we can go over and head over to the rooms.
But quick question, do you guys still try to group like-minded people when it's a group of 18? I mean,
definitely. As a matter of fact, currently on our 4th floor, we have one side which we put our nurses, and then the other side we have for our athletes. So we still do group like-minded folks together, yes. Here.
And then another one there. Okay.
And that's it for our tour with Dominic, project coordinator of 138 Student Living. When we come back, we wrap things up with Anthony.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
So I'm back from the tour. You guys have wonderful facilities, I must say. Very impressed.
Thank you.
And very sufficient for large teams, medium-sized teams, as you said. So good job.
Thank you.
So what prompted the decision to do short-term rentals and to explore this outside of just regular student living?
Short-term rentals was kind of an emergent strategy.
Right.
When company leadership realized that there was a need for housing outside of the 1 year and 9 month thing. For students. There are many users of UWI that needed facilities for much shorter periods of time. So first it started out with 48 rooms and then we realized more was needed, so it grew to 120. And then rooms are thrown into the pool depending on the uptake of undergraduate students.
Other than event planners, who are you guys targeting? Who is your target market?
Event planners, that's a key one. One of the reasons why we target event planners because of the facilities all at one place at UWI. Obviously, there's 3,000 rooms, 120 available year-round.
Right.
There is sporting facilities for sporting events, conference and meeting facilities for business events or anything of that nature. Intellectual facilities, you can host conferences, symposiums, chemistry labs, medical labs. There's a supermarket here.
Right.
UWI even has a beach, marine biology lab. There are many things you can do on campus with 138 and UWI. The cluster style setup of our accommodation is conducive to sporting groups and teams, or large to medium-sized groups. So those are two target markets. As well, parents of students, outpatients at the hospital, visitors, guest lecturers in academia. Right. In addition to all of that, with the group-style facilities, we target church groups for retreats and conferences, large groups that have interest in UWI's facilities.
What amenities do you usually highlight?
24-hour security, that's one of our strong selling points, as you'd have seen with Dominic. Access card, entry to the building, and then key to the front door as well as your room door. Another one of our strong selling points is, I like to say, the cluster style accommodation. It's a nice community feel.
Right.
That's why we target groups. And I think the main thing is the plethora of facilities here at UWI. I mean, there's literally everything here.
It's a one-stop.
Exactly.
And what about the price range for the rooms? And if I pay and stay here, am I able to use the facilities of UWI freely?
So our rack rate is $65 per night. That is the official price.
Okay.
But we are flexible in regards to the target market, large groups. And
Right, so depending on how many people in my group, I can get a cheaper rate.
Right, right. In terms of the facilities, okay, the pool and the gymnasium, yes. But in terms of UWI's wider facilities, that will have to be kind of pre-booked.
Okay.
And that's handled between ourselves and UWI. Okay. So you tell us what you need and then we will put it together for you, essentially. Okay. Yeah.
Now, college students are known to get a little rowdy sometimes.
Right.
How do you address any concerns by people who may be staying here
about living amongst college students?
There is complete segregation. So short-term guests aren't...
We don't stay in the same facility.
Right.
Okay.
Obviously, we have 120 rooms carved out for year-round short-term rentals. And that's separate from the...
Separate meaning a whole different building?
Yes.
Okay.
You'd have seen 2 doctors from North America. They would be in a cluster of 4 together along with 2 other doctors.
Right.
I believe they're in a cluster with 2 other doctors from Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas.
So tell us, what is next for 138? What future plans do you guys have and what can we expect?
Wow, I mean, it's exciting times. Obviously, we're just 2 years into the game. So, I mean, under our concession agreements, we still have a few more rooms to develop. So currently, we are constructing 384 rooms at Irving Hall. With a memorandum of understanding was actually signed with University of Technology, so we could be replicating the same product and PPP strategy over UTech as well. And there are some talks to expand into the Caribbean.
Oh, lovely, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's exciting times for the company, our shareholders. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us on this episode and talking to us about 138 student living. I definitely learned a lot and I'm excited to see your future plans, so thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Candy.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Home Sweet Home. Until next time, I'm Candy. Bye.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.